Proportional relationships and the graphs. A relationship is proportional. So we learned it yesterday if they had equivalent ratios. But on a graph, it's proportional if its graph is a straight line. And what else do we learn on one of our bell work? What else does it have to be? Not
Through the origin.
Origin, very good. Through the origin. And the origin is 0, 0. The graph shows the time in hours and the amount in dollars that Joni earns at her job. So that's what this graph shows. I want us to label these. So dollars earned, this is my Y. Hours worked, this is my X. Okay? And what I want you to write is something that we're also going to learn is that we have constant is what? What is constant? How do we find a constant? Y over X. And what's my label for Y?
K times X.
No, what's my label for
Oh,
Y?
wait,
If I look at the
I
chart, what's my label?
Dollars.
Okay, so dollars. And what's my label for my X? Okay, so it's dollars per hour. Are you with me on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's all from yesterday's notes. And then if we wanted to, we would write an equation, which would be what? Y equals
K times X.
what?
K times X.
K times X. Write it again. So now to find if it's proportional on a graph, our step 1 is telling us to choose a point and explain what it represents. So they've already chosen our point for us, and our point is 3, 5. I want you to label it. This means it's X, Y. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
Find it on the graph. So I go over 3, up 15, and I'm going to circle it. Or do something that I know that that's my point that I'm looking at. So what does my 3 represent? 3 is my, what?
Hours.
Hours worked, so I'm gonna label that. Hours worked. And then 15 would be my
Dollars.
dollars earned, and I'm just gonna use the dollar sign. Money earned. So then they put 15 over 3. So this is going, I'm over here, I'm gonna write that this is my K equals Y over X. 15 is my dollars, 3 is my hours. If they reduce them by 3, you get $5 per 1 hour, which we call that, what did we learn yesterday? That would be called by unit rate, because the denominator is equal to 1. Unit rate. And then my unit rate is also my K, which is my constant. So a unit rate and your constant are the same thing. So step 1, we found a point, we put it Y over X. Found the unit rate of it. Step 2 is you'd say the constant of proportionality is, what's my constant then?
5.
5. And then step 3 tells me to write it as our equation, and we keep seeing that the equation is y equals k times x, and you're gonna see me make you write that several times. So what does y equal? Right here, y equals what?
K times 5. Wait, no.
5 times
Yeah.
X.
5
That's
times x, because my k equals the 5. So is this relationship proportional?
Yes.
Yes.
Because it has a what?
Constant.
Good, so when I ask why, constant k, and then it also has a straight line and through the origin. So how can we prove that that's also a straight line? What should we do to the graph?
Go line through.
Draw a line.
Just draw a straight line through it. The next example, the graph shows a relationship between the blank, a blank. So we're gonna start with the ages of children. And it would be the number of chores. So if I just take a look at my plotted points, and I'm looking at the plotted points, and I'm just going to try to connect the dots. Go ahead and start connecting the dots. Is it a straight line?
No.
No.
Okay, does it go through the origin?
No.
So is it proportional?
No.
Okay, so we would say, is the relationship proportional? No. Now explain it. Not a straight line or through the origin. Are we ready to?
Mhm.
Okay. Says to choose a proportional relationship. So first thing I need to do is I'm gonna look at all these graphs and I'm going to draw a line through the dots. Go ahead and draw lines through the dots on all of them. Alright, so let's take a look at A. You have to ask yourself, does it go through the origin?
Yes.
Yes. Is it a straight line?
Yes.
So should it be proportional?
Yes.
Yes. What about B?
It doesn't go through the origin.
What's wrong with it?
It doesn't go through the origin.
Okay, so we're gonna put 0, 0, and we're gonna put a line through it, meaning it doesn't go through the origin. So sometimes you can have a straight line and not be proportional. You just call that a linear equation, but it's not proportional. What's wrong with C?
It's not a straight line.
Not a straight line. And I'm just gonna draw that for a straight line. What's wrong with D?
No straight line.
Not a straight line. So my answer has to be what?
A.
Okay. Now we're gonna do a little bit of more information with this. We're gonna come up here and we're gonna write the formula, y equals k times
X.
x. How do I find k?
K.
Y over x. Are you with me?
Mhm.
Okay, so now we need to come down and pick a point. I always pick the easiest one. Points have to be the ones that cross the axis. So I'm gonna pick this point right here. What are the coordinates of that point?
Two
Two and
one.
1. Okay, so those are the coordinates. This is my x, this is my y. With me?
Mhm.
So up here, next to the y, what number do I put?
1.
1. What do I put for the x?
2.
So my constant is 1 over 2, which is 1/2. So now, how do I write my equation?
Y equals 1/2 X.
Alright, I need everybody to tell me, how do I write it? Y
Equals
equals,
1/2 X.
okay, now I'm gonna go one step further. When I have k equals my 1 over 2, my 1 is my y, right?
Mhm.
That means you decide whether you go up or you go down. If it's positive, you go
Up.
up 1. If it was negative, you would go
Down.
down 1. So this one, you would write up 1. Now 2 is my x. X means I'm either going left or right. So if it's positive, I'm gonna go
Right.
left or right. Right. If it was negative, I would go
Left.
left. So this one, it means I'm going up 1, right 2. And this is going to get us into what k for a constant is also our slope. For number 2. In the graph, choose the correct description from the data shown. Before I read any of these descriptions, I want to see, is it a straight line?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, does it go through the origin?
Yes.
So is it proportional?
Yes.
Okay, so I know that it is proportional, right? So let's come over here and we're gonna write k again. K equals y over x. I need to pick a point. I usually pick my first one. What are the coordinates of that point?
2, 2.
Nope,
1, 2.
Oh, yeah.
1, 2. So what number goes on top?
2.
2 over
1.
1. So my constant equals 2. So y equals what?
K, or 2 times X.
2 times x. Now we're gonna go back to our constant, 2 over 1. They're both positives, so that means you're going up and then right. So I want you to write, this means up, 2, right, 1. And I could graph my points this way, so if I look at this point, I go up, 1, 2, right, 1, and that's how I get my next point. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now let's read through and see which one is correct. It is not proportional, although we just said it was. It is a proportional relationship and the constant rate of change is 2. Is that our constant?
Yes.
So that would be my answer, but let's just double check the other ones. It is a proportional relationship and the constant rate of change is 6. Well, is it 6?
No.
Okay, so circle that's where it's wrong. And D says it is not proportional, so we know that that's are not correct. Always go and read through all of your examples. Alright, on the, do I need to wait? No? Okay. The next problem, we don't have a graph, but we have tables. So what are we gonna have to try to find?
Y.
The constant, right? Y over X. So it says complete each table. Choose the table that shows a proportional relationship with a constant rate of change per hour of $7.50. Everybody rewrite constant equals Y over X. What's our label? What's Y?
Cost.
Per what?
Item.
Item. I want you to label this X. This is your Y. So we've already done this in a lesson, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for this one, I go 9 over 3, right? What does that equal?
3.
Let's come to the other one we know. 24 over what?
8.
8 equals
3.
So what's our constant in this one?
3.
So our constant equals 3. So what do I have to divide 12 by? Or what do I take 12? I divide it by what?
4.
Okay, to get 3. So I put 4 in the box. What do I would do with the 750? Instead of dividing, I'm going to multiply it by 4. 750 times 4 is 20 times 3, sorry, it's 2250. And then 45, we're going the other way, we're going to divide by 3, and 45 divided by 3 is 15. So that's how you fill in a chart. So let label it X over Y. So we're gonna start with the
Cost.
constant equals 42 over 6. What's 42 divided by 6?
7.
7. If we do the 63 divided by 9, what does that equal?
7.
7. So what's our constant is what?
7.
7. So 56, I would divide by
8.
Wait, no.
7 to get
8.
good. Here we go the other way. Instead of dividing by 7, we're going to multiply by 7 to get
7.
70. And here we take 84 and we divide it by 7 to get
12.
That's still not our answer. X, Y. So we start with 15 over 2. What does that equal?
$7.50.
750, right?
Uh-huh.
So would 750 be our constant then?
Yes.
Should be. So what do I do with the 4 to get to 750?
Times. What?
Multiply by what?
750.
Okay, you can do that. Now, here's another thing. How do I get from, if I do this, and I want my denominator to be 4, how do I get from 2 to 4?
Times 2.
So what's 15 times 2?
30.
Didn't that make that one easier?
Yeah.
I used unit, or equivalent ratios.
Then you can do the same thing for 60.
I can do the same thing for 60, because I got 50 over 2 equals 60 over, well, how'd I get from 15 to 60?
Times 4.
Times 4.
Times 4.
So I take, So I take 2 times 4 to get 8. Now if I have 15 over 2 equals x over 10, how do I get from 2 to 10?
Times 5.
So what do I do with the 15?
Times 5.
What's 15 times 5?
75.
So sometimes you don't wanna go by the constant if it's a decimal. Sometimes you wanna go by finding those equivalent ratios. But does B have the constant of 750?
Yes.
So that's my answer. So we're still gonna continue and do the last one. Y over X. Go with what you know to start with. So 20 over 4 equals what?
5.
5. So what's my constant?
5.
I want you to take a second and try filling out the rest of these on your own, and then we'll go over it. So to do my first one, I'm gonna put it 15 over something equals 5. Well, 15 divided by what is 5?
3.
3. Then I go, this next one would be something over 5 equals 5. Well, what divided by 5 is 5?
25.
And this last one, something over 750 equals 5. That was probably a little bit harder. Did anybody get that one?
37.
What did you get?
37.
Good. 3750. What did I forget to do on my chart?
Label.
I forgot to label it. X and the Y. Alright, I want you to take a picture of this last page and get it submitted.